Hello and welcome to Maples Pavilion, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready for this Pac-12 women's volleyball contest this afternoon. Kevin Dan alongside Tim Swartz, the Stanford Cardinal, number 7 in the nation, taking on the de facto number 26 team in the country, the Utah Utes. The first team out of the top 25, Stanford 4-1 in conference play and 10-3 overall. The Utes coming into this one 12-4 and 3-2, so a pivotal Pac-12 matchup here, Tim.
Yeah, I think Stanford's played very well this year. The only matches they've lost have been five-set matches. So they've won in 3 and 4 sets. Every match they've lost could have gone either way. That's all you can really ask. I mean, I think the main goal, if you're Stanford, if you're any team in the NCAA, is to be one of the 16 best teams in the country to get to host in the first and second rounds. And then from there, you kind of take the draw. So I think Stanford right now is in a very commanding position, and this is a big match to stay in that position.
It's Holland McKenna to serve, joined on the court by Kelsey Humphreys, Morgan Hentz, Catherine Plummer, Inky Ajanaku, and Moretta Lutz. Big dig there from Hentz. The freshman libero, the swing goes long for Plummer, who had a heck of a match on Friday night in the 4-set victory over Colorado. 15 kills and 16 digs to go along with 5 blocks.
It was a 4-set win, but for Stanford, the only set they lost was a deuce set, and they won their other 3 sets, 17, 19, and 18. So it was a pretty comfortable 4-set win for the Cardinal.
Megan Shugro, the libero for the Utes, to serve it away. Backslide attack, Ajanaku, and if she gets a set like that, that's going to be a kill every time.
Yeah, if Stanford's really in system, and they can set up Ajanaku, they're going to do that 9 times out of 10. She might be the best middle blocker hitter in the country.
Ajanaku to serve. By the way, the starters for Utah: Shugro, Tani Louis-Falimana, Bailey Choi, the setter, Berkeley Oblad, a middle blocker. That's Adora Anai, the best swinger in the conference, leading the conference in more than 4.7 kills per set. This time they go to Oblad, who gets it past Tammy Alade, the other starter for the Cardinal, who subbed out with the libero Morgan Hentz. To finish up the starting lineup for Utah under head coach Beth Lanier, it's Tori Glasker in there alongside Adora Anai and Eliza Katoa, another outside hitter. So here's Jessie Openshaw, the number 2 setter in the 6-2 attack for Utah. Both teams running a 6-2. Oblad off the quick attack. Utah off to a good start here, leading 3-1. Openshaw, a sophomore from Provo, BYU territory. Went to Timpview High. Here's Anai, most dangerous attacker in the league. Hit right to Shugro. Anai through 2. Good dig from McKenna. Long rally here. Low set, popped over by Alade. Here's Anai. Bad set there leads to an easy stuff for the Cardinal. Double block Lutz and Alade. It's 3-2 Stanford trailing.
Yeah, Lutz has played that opposite position. There, that's 6-8 on the side. Normally we're used to Stanford hitting a very high percentage, getting a lot of digs, not getting a lot of blocks. It's a little bit different. They're hitting a little bit lower than normal, but they're more than making up for that with the blocks, with the size. And that's something that hasn't really been a signature of Stanford, but they've really transitioned well this year.
Last year, 2.8 blocks per set. This year, 3.5 blocks per set to lead the nation. As we're tied at 3. Another block off a tip. Here's Jenna Gray, the other setter for Stanford, in the Cardinals' 6-2 attack. Anai, roofed. Alade and Adriana Fitzmaurice, a stellar freshman. Fitzmaurice leading the conference in blocks per set. Stanford's on a little 3-0 run.
This is just a dominant blocking setup for Stanford. 6-6, 6-6, 6-6.
This time Anai tools the block, and they are going to set Adora Anai every day and twice on Sunday.
Good thing it is Sunday today.
Yeah. By far the most frequent swinger for the Utes. Here is Anai. Junior from Hawaii with an ace. She's also the most dangerous server on the team, and that's her team-leading 23rd service ace.
Yeah, Utah's taking some chances serving. They've had a couple nice serves down the line. A little bit of an underdog today. Lower ranked, though they very much could win this match. It's a tough match for Stanford.
Utes coming off a rough 2015 campaign in which they went 10-21. Catherine Plummer, the authoritative smash down there. But already the Utes 2 more wins than they had all of last season at 12-4 in this season. Plummer to serve, one of the fabulous freshmen that John Dunning brought in. Dunning in his 16th season at the helm. Standing float serve. Quick attack, Oblad, too strong. Plummer, the number 3 recruit according to Prep Volleyball. Adriana Fitzmorris, the number 2 recruit. Cal has the number 5 recruit. USC has the number 1 recruit. So Pac-12 dominating the recruiting scene for the class of 2016. That goes off the block for the Utes.
Stanford needed it. I mean, they lost one of their best senior classes they've had. Maddie Bugg, Jordan Burgess, Brittany Howard. They've lost a lot of really good players. They had to reload quickly, and they have.
Back set for Fitzmorris. The number 2 recruit in the land. Leading the conference in blocks per set. Also averages close to 2.5 kills per set. And here's Hentz, another freshman from Kentucky. Service error. Tim, you mentioned it. They reloaded quickly, and Purdue coach Dave Shondell told me when he came out here that he expects Stanford to go to the Final Four this year. That's the level of talent that the Cardinal has brought in.
And Stanford, you look at their losses. They lost to San Diego, who was unranked to start the year, kind of a bit of a shocker. Well, look at the standings. Look at the APVCA poll. They're number 5 in the country. Purdue's in the top 20. Washington State's a top 20 team. They've lost games early in this year, but they're all the good teams. And I think if you ask John Cost, or you ask Coach John Dunning, in a way, you'd rather play those teams in 5 sets and get those 5-set matches early in the season with a young team, because if you lose those matches we were talking about earlier, you just want to be in that top 16 so you host first and second rounds.
Exactly.
There's a margin for error.
Sent back is Glasker. Bajanaku putting Stanford up 1. This is Ivana Vanyak, and the Germany native makes it 9-7. Kelsey Humphreys to serve now.
School is named after Albert Einstein.
Not a bad person to name a school after.
He's from Germany.
Katoa into the net. Eliza Katoa, the junior from Layton. You mentioned the losses to San Diego and Purdue, Tim. The number 1 team in the country, Minnesota, a team that Stanford beat the first weekend of the season. Still the Gophers' only loss coming into this weekend.
And Washington State's all the way up to number 10.
How about the start of the season for the Cougars? Now 5-0 in conference. The first 3 Pac-12 teams they beat were all ranked in the top 10 in UCLA, Stanford, and Washington.
Hit the antenna. It was maybe a couple centimeters lower. That could have been played by Humphreys.
Tori Glasker serving. Freshman from South Jordan, Utah, has now 5 aces on the season. Utes trailing by 1. Tipped to the back row by Plummer. There's a look for Katoa, and we're knotted up at 10.
And just tipped off of Plummer. That's a tough ball to gauge. It was about maybe a little bit lower than her chest, in between her hip and her chest, and that's one of those ones where darned if you do, if you go for it, darned if you don't. We've been very close to that back line.
Hentz with a good pass there. This U team is tough.